Saved library. I brought home a video from apparently before the Nazis and the war. There's a thing in the German law that existed till 1969 in West Germany. It's called Paragraph 175, making homosexuality a crime, making it criminal. If you suspected of being a homosexual up until 1969 in Germany, you could be arrested and sent to jail for being a homosexual. The women were held to be considered vessels for reproduction and considered rehabilitative and weren't put in the concentration camps. The men were. There was a number of, they figured about 175,000. A man named Klaus Mueller made a film about it. He found 10 survivors. Wow. The guy who started out Hitler's stormtroopers was a known homosexual. He started out, Hitler backed him and then flipped the script on him, murdered him, and then he went on a big homosexual murdering campaign. It was just, Hitler does that quite many times, and they've got the documentation and the evidence to prove it. He flips scripts anytime he sees well fit. He's not the type of person you can trust. I've got your back. And the Germans knew it. The one guy was talking in there, and he said, yeah, he went to the clubs, and they were all nervous and kept showing up there. And he says, why do you show up here? Well, they let us have the clubs so they can get us in these clubs, and we all let us meet her, and then they get us when we all meet, and then they come in and get us. That's what Hitler would do. Oh, no, you can meet and have your meeting places. Why? So we know where to corral you up and put you into camps as soon as we flip on you. He's like that. Oh, I'll be your friend, and you can do what you want, and you're able to have a voice. And it's funny because you get all those gun control sites online, and great gun control people, Stalin, Hitler, blah, blah, blah. The French guy who had been raped by German soldiers in front of 300 prisoners, and they shoved a stick in his anus, and he still bleeds to this day because of being raped by a stick in his anus. God, that's just sick. All his friends were murdered in front of him. The one homosexual guy said that they took them out on poles out, they called it the Singing Forest, and they would hang them up backwards and torture them. It was even worse for the Jews, that they would twist them and turn them and contort them and torture them. And you could hear it screaming in unimaginable, incomprehensible screams. That's why we called it the Singing Forest. And the Germans would take pictures standing over the dead and mutilated Jews and homosexuals. Remember those pictures of the camps with the terrorists and the prisons in Baghdad that our soldiers? God. Guys, please don't do this to my soldiers. Don't teach them and preach to them this evil. I'm complaining, man. I'm sorry. I was sitting there watching. I don't want to watch a movie on homosexual stuff. It's gonna. And then I started watching it, and my heart was just crushing through it. When the one guy went to go get his boyfriend, and the one big German man said, "Are you brave?" "Yeah." "Okay, well, put on this Hitler Youth thing and go free him from that church or that school building." So he goes and he gets him out, and he walks him out, and he's walking him halfway down the street, and the guy looks at him and goes, "I'm the strongest person in my whole family. I can't leave them. I'm sorry, but I can't go with you." And this guy goes, "This was the love of my life." He turned around, went back into that school, and a year later he was murdered in a prison camp with his family. He says, "There's still a part of me in my heart that's broken to this day. It was the love of my life. I could have taken him out and got him free. I couldn't get his whole family out, but I could get him, and he wouldn't go. He had to go die with his family to protect his mom and his dad and his brothers and sisters, and they all died anyway. He had to go and keep them strong because he was the strongest of all of them." He said, "I had to go back," which he proved, because Manfred was freed by his homosexual lover, and he wasn't going to accept it and went back to comfort his family till they were all murdered. The one guy who kept on getting put into prison, everybody he went, he said everywhere we'd go, and they would take the homeless, and they would just murdered all the ones I talked to. There was a decree not to murder the homosexuals, but to rehabilitate them or castrate them. And they just had numbers on the Germans. They didn't have the numbers on all the. They had a list of all the French when they went in to occupy the French and the Austrians and the others that were gay. He had a system. They had a system with triangles and stuff on the back. Brown was for gypsies. This was for Jews. Blues were Jehovah's Witnesses. They corralled and murdered the Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah, the blacks, anybody who was different, he got and he murdered. And the French guy who was sodomized with probably like a shovel handle said that, all that stuff you guys talk about, gun control and Hitler and Stalin and all those that, were great components of gun control. He said we were listening on the radio in France and it scared us because you could hear them and he'd give these speeches and all the Germans would be yelling, guns, 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 guns. They were making more guns and distributing guns among the Germans and giving them more guns. They were just screaming for guns. The Jews weren't allowed to have guns. Homosexuals weren't allowed to have guns. Blacks, Jehovah's Witnesses, but the Germans were allowed to have guns. Like in America, okay? Yeah. The blacks weren't allowed to have guns. Okay, the Black Panther Party armed themselves and they came in and took their guns away. Okay? They disarmed the blacks in California during the 60s. It's why Angela Davis was prosecuted and arrested, because she told those people they had Second Amendment rights and First Amendment rights and all kinds of rights. She told them how to exercise their constitutional and their legal rights against these unjust. They came in and just totally, took their guns away, took away their civil rights, came in without warrants, locked up their young men without cause. It was horrible. And Angela Davis was educating him, said, you have laws and you can protect yourself. You can arm yourself. You have right to assembly. You have to you have all this stuff. And if you can't do that, well, you need to get a new government. So they said, this woman's a communist. She says, well, we'd be better with communism if this government doesn't work for us. Maybe we can get one that does. She wasn't intelligent. She was just intelligent. She understood Thomas Paine. If the government doesn't give you your basic rights, you get a new government. And then, like Martin Luther King said, man, this one delivers better if it delivers, but it doesn't. It's not delivering. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to speak and I'm going to stand and I'm going to try to make this government deliver for all people, my people, and all the people. This country is scary, man. Not scary like, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of any of you. I'm going to kill you. What's new? You've been doing it for, Hirschman Steinschneider was trying to protect Jews, gypsies. Yeah, in that movie that they have, with Tim Roth and everything and stuff like that. You got to remember, this was information passed on by the people that try to make Herschel Steinschneider, his Czech Jew psychic, look like this. That's a big political bullshit twist. Yeah, he had parties with homosexuals. Yeah, he had parties with all that stuff and everything. All that stuff they said about him was true. He slept with more than one woman. His marriages fell apart, and he was a star. And I had trouble connecting to Herschel. Well, the women, the Bavarian, there were a lot of very attractive women, and they liked him. He was an actor and a philanthropist, and one of the richest and most powerful men in all Germany. He had sex with a lot of beautiful women, and every time I see him, he's in these rooms, and it's half lit and romantically lit, and he's just having these glorious copulations. Man, that's all that motherfucker does is have sex. I'm just kidding around, but it was hard for me to connect to Herschel. He was busy. He didn't have time for spirituality, for religion. It was all clairvoyance and trying to understand all the protocols of Zion, the scriptures, the Torah, all. They were trying to figure out the scientific applications and the telekinesis and the psychic readings and understandings. Like Hitler had all these psychics, and the top psychic was Herschel. He could sit there and explain everything to him, and he could get it down right. And they used him, and then he thought, well, they won't fuck this up, and they did. And he told them, it's gonna backfire on you. And everything Hirschman told Hitler and his Nazi friends came to pass. You'll have this rise and that, and then within 10 years, it'll all come crashing down on you. But the people backing Hitler and stuff didn't care, because it was like, let's just get rid of them fast. You got the Avery Brundages over here, this and that, the banking shift this there. Yeah, this is part of the plan. Hitler always fucks people over. People fucked him over. Yeah, and then he was going to have his boys from Brazil over here, over there, this and that and that. They had plans all the time. It's how they work. It's called cloning technologies. At that time, it was called a bleeding technology, where they knew that your synapses from your psychic thing that would reappear, so they tried to get genetic. They've had cloning kind of genetic kind of technologies and stuff since the end of World War II. And they put into things in effect to get the German people, their leaders and their whatevers and stuff to be able to. They've been doing this for a long time. It's not anything new. Rich people have been doing it a long time. And now they have genetic mutations, splicing of close genetic similitudes. What else? You can stimulate your muscles, have muscle memorization and where it's like a fusion between the person that was before and one that isn't. It's like, okay, you clone yourself into someone similar to you. You have some genetic reflexes like dancing ability, things and stuff like that, singing ability and stuff like that. But you're mainly your synapses and your intellectual ability. It's very irrational, very insane. It drives people quite mad. It makes them quite paranoid and schizophrenic. They think they can handle it, but they don't. It's hard. What they do, a lot of them will too. And then the religious people, what they'll do is replace their own children and make a younger clone of themselves, and then have it surgically altered to look like that child that they didn't like that would try to kill them off. They would kill them off, replace them with a clone, and then they just keep on living in the same synapses through a similar cloned body, just change their appearance. It's real easy. Yeah, we have the technology to do it. We've been cloning for a long time. When they told you that thing about cloning those, they always give you they're doing it. When you can finally do this, they've been doing it for 15 to 20 years, if not longer. Okay? And those that I told you that Las Cruces, when they have the thing in there at the library where they're holding all those treasures, that's 1960 circa, and that's publicly released technology at that time, which means they were doing it back in the 40s. You guys get it? Okay. You never tell the general populace the technology that you have. You always keep them in the dark. If you're rich, you always keep the best for yourself. You're always way ahead of okay. You guys figure out how it works? Okay. It's just common sense. It's just intelligence. Yeah, you always give yourself a better gun. If you put out a disease, you make sure you have a cure for the disease. You make sure that you have the antidote and your friend doesn't. It's a whole Fabry thing. Yeah. You have a poison, give the king the poison, have the antidote, and before he gives you the antidote, you have him sign off your land and your title. Get the fuck out of there. Yeah, okay, here's the antidote. I'm out of here. I'll send you the antidote. Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. It's how these psychos work. Land and title and money and aristocracy and idiocracy and inhumanity and insanity and stupidity. And they think they're evolved for the new, we've got this all figured out. They've become quite socio-psychopathic, quite insane. Look what they've done to the planet. Look what they've done to the resources. Look what they've done to each other. Look how they rationally plot each other, kill each other, will kill their own children to survive as their own children in a cloned genetic similitude that they can sexually, surgically alter to look like them. It's just nuts. These people are quite insane. Well, I connected to that one guy, and David Rockefeller already confessed most of this to me. Because when we started connecting, I'm like, how'd you know, Jesse? How do you know about the gun risky? Never mind, I get it. Okay. So you're technically not you, you're your dad. Okay. Because your son was a real fucking evil SOB. I got you. No, he tells me that. The kid was worse than me. He was an evil fuck. John Reese Geddes was a stupid evil fuck. Do the math. I'll pay one half the country to kill the other half the country. Oh, you're a fucking brain surgeon. So you're going to surround yourself with a bunch of fucking Hitlers and then sleep tight at night. You need these You need these moral, I'm not self-righteous, you need these moral, trustworthy, character-filled Muhammad's, Jesus's. You need the Ralph Parsonses, Juniors of the world. If you don't have them, this world is a living hell. And then when it comes right down to it, you want to be more like him. You don't want to be like the David Rockefellers and the ones before trying to fight with all this evil shit, having to get caught up with all this evil shit of all these evil, psychopathic, money-induced crazy fucks that are driving themselves insane because of their insanity, and they're caught in this cloak of insanity and paranoid schizophrenia. They're all going to kill me world. You want people like Ralph as your neighbor, and you want to be more like him. It's just intelligence. You want people like Muhammad. You want people like Jesus. You want people like Bob Marley. And Haile Selassie. And the thing with Ralph is he's crazy enough to be even more courageous than just about any of them. Not before, but the ones, yeah. Bob died. He was murdered and wasn't ever going to give up. Haile was the same way. Ralph's like that. Steve Biko's like that. Fred Hampton's like that. Malcolm X like that. They're not crazy. I'm in no way, shape, form, or afraid. We're not putting on a show. We just figured it out and we get it. We get to that point like there's nothing to be afraid of. Because I'm in a immaculate transfiguratory state. Now they're like, it should be scary. They can bottle your synapses. Now, the resource allocation, the synapses allocation overrides certain things. God decides. Jesus told us that 2,000 some odd years ago. God decides. What if there's 7 brothers and blah, blah, blah. No, God will decide where that goes. Even if they try to manipulate it, it can still be overridden. So the one that's sitting there manipulating, yes, there can be something, a disease, this, or that. Yeah, they think it could have perfect health, and all of a sudden something in their things that they put in themselves to make themselves resist all days mutates and automatically shuts them down and kills them. They try to kill me. Their synapses goes into the stasis containment device that they had planned for me, and I go to someone in their family, and all of a sudden someone in their family has a close genetic splice and mix because they've tried to assimilate my DNA, and I'm in their family, and I'm not going to betray them, but I sure the fuck am going to be able to kick their ass, telekinesis with them, figure out what the fuck they're doing, and be 2 steps ahead of them. And then they've already set up the components with the supercomputers and the robots to protect me and protect others and protect ourselves from people like them. So they've set up all the conditions to make this a better world. I just want them to do it in the most humane and intelligent fashion possible. I don't want them to go to prison. I don't want them to be outed. I just want them to be themselves, not be schizophrenic, not be whatever and stuff like that. And when they lose all the things that they think they've won, just sit back and enjoy the world as it is. Enjoy your day in the limelight and your day in the sun and your, if you read my memoirs and all your bullshit, because your day has come and your day is done. Just be a regular person like the rest of us. No one's going to look up to you, no one's going to respect you, and no one's going to guard you because you haven't done anything worthy of it. Okay, people are going to admire me and look up to me because I've earned it. But I'm going to tell them, no, do it your own damn self, and I couldn't have done nothing without all y'all. Because y'all cool, and y'all doing this, and you're taking your world back, and I'm proud of you. I mean, that's cool if y'all sit there and say, like the Bill Russell thing in his book, I want my son to grow up to be just like you. How about like you, all right? How about grow up to be just like you? Not just like you, or how about they just grow up like Brandon Lee said? I'm just going to go up to be me, but someone that I learned from my father. My son's not just like me, but he's a lot like me in a lot of ways, but he's Patrick. Noah has some things that are a lot like me. He's strong, he's brave, and he'll stand up for people. Natalie, I told you that one day, my sister came over and started bashing homosexuals and all that stuff and saying these people are bad, that people, and my kids, Natalie and Noah, jumped up and said, I would stand up to defend and protect homosexuals. And I was standing there by that truck going, that's my kids, that's my daddy, that's my Noe. And Amy, I would too. Katie was like, what are we talking about? She didn't know. She was 5. What's a homosexual? I don't know. It doesn't compute. Patrick was that way at 5 too. Dad, all little boys like little girls. Not necessarily the case, son. No, it's cool though, But yeah, I used to think that way too. I was just like, all little boys like little girls. All little boys have a crush on. I mean, Mike may have a crush on Lonnie Anderson, and I may have a crush on Lola Falana, but it took me a while to figure out the homosexual. How could you not have a crush on Lonnie Anderson? How could you not have a crush on Lola Falana? If all you had was Lonnie Anderson, that's pretty good. Zang, excellent, beautiful, yeah. Would you be happy if you want to be happy for the rest of your life? I don't judge pretty women. No, I think pretty women can be faithful, can be kind, can be intelligent, and be very cool. I don't judge them just because they're pretty. Doesn't mean that they're mindless dumbasses that want to be sex goddesses to all the men and want everybody to put their penis in them. You can't judge pretty women like that. That's just wrong. I have to. I've done it on many occasions, and I have a lot of friends that are very, very pretty girls that try their best to be faithful to their boyfriends. A lot of them do, and I met them, and I do not judge attractive women. My wives were attractive, but not the most attractive women I've had an opportunity to have relationships. And two or three of the most attractive women I've had opportunities to have relationships, I couldn't pursue relationships with them because of the women I had relationships with, and they would have been just, wonderful women to be in relationships with. But at the time, it just wasn't feasible. I could have, but it's not I could have. I wasn't going to have a happy relationship until all this shit is shut down with the Temple of Set, the Illuminati, and the whole little Michael Aquino clan and all those people and stuff like that. Michael Aquino, I believe, has the capacity to change himself. It's a similitude of Adolf Hitler. I get it. I believe the man has the capacity to lead these people in an intelligent manner. I think if they had a similitude change of, a transference change of someone like Antoine LaVey, who decided it's better to go through it in a baby instead of a cloning stage to let yourself naturally evolve so you can be more intelligent, and then they tried to put him in a worse condition. He betrayed us, whatever. Hey, whatever. That was set up from the get-go. But it's so I think he can find ways to analyze and resist and be protected by someone that can see how much I would really try to step up and love. And then they would think, well, he hasn't done anything. I have. I've done the best that I can. I'm not going to put on a show for you guys, and I'm not going to do this rational bullshit. I don't panic, okay? This is a continuum, molecular, and relative state of being, okay? I don't see it like you guys did. That kid's going to become the next Damien Devil. No. I don't even see Michael Aquino going in that way. I see him changing, realizing what he's done wrong, and going, wow, there's Parsons, and wow, Herschel was right. And wow, I see him being able, because sometimes they can work in a more intelligent manner when they're able to sit back and analyze and see what I'm doing and how I do it. God, I wish I could kick ass like that. You can, but why should you have to? It's because you train these people to be fucking morons, and I'm kicking their ass sideways because they open I'm not even doing it. They're doing it for me with their hate, their stupidity, and their irrationality. I just let them speak and come and just whap, and then go, can you straighten out now? Are we good, Hoganfly, are we good, Joe? Good. Sounds good. Let's do this. All right. You guys done pulling this bullshit? Because I really, really don't like kicking your ass. I don't like doing it. A lot of people throwing that thing stuck by me about Jennifer Lopez not being who she is, that she's some rich lady that... her kids know her and recognize her. Her family does. Spiritually, I don't get that. Spiritually, I get she's this beautiful woman that's trapped in this hell that she wants out. She's trapped in the Hotel California, and she wants out. She hates it. Will hates it. Jada hates it. They hate it. They want life to be better, but they're trapped by these psychopaths, and they want help. And just like Brock said, we can't do this ourselves. We need this crazy little fucker in New Mexico to be pushed up into a public figure. I don't want to be. I want to be if I need to be a public figure, I don't want anything. I didn't want fame, guys. I didn't want this. No, I hate fame. I can't stand it. I think it's stupid. I think it's best to just be famous in your own home among your kids. The whole thing with Julie Christie and Achilles, if you stay here, you'll make kids, and then no one will remember who you are. Well, yeah, but if we don't go to war and fight and do all this stupid shit, maybe it's just be best to just be remembered by your own family. My favorite characters, like Jonah's mom said in the, at Columbia Middle School, and her grandfathers, they're Christians, longtime Christians in Bible study, from the Jewish line, and my favorites too are Job and Jonah. Yeah, they also ran not popular famous guys having to take on the big crazy people coming in, just trying to handle their family who are being crazy mean shitheads. Knock it off! But I like Jonah and I like Job, but I don't like that either. I don't want to have to go through this fight. So ones I like Malachi and I like Joseph and Moses to a degree, but I don't like all that drama. One of my favorites is Malachi. we had a decent time and it wasn't that bad, and we had a period of not this, and I, Malachi, as an old man, will tell you these things will happen, and this one will come, and Jesus will come, and Muhammad will come, and he explains it all through the gospel. Same with Amos. There was a little bit of bad time. He came in, he was told step forward and go straighten out things with the king and tell them that you are the prophet. No, the other guys are, no, you are. But I'm not of anybody. No, there's no hereditary line through. They do this all the time. Your dad's just a farmer, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Go tell him. And he does it, and he's correct, and he helps correct the people. I love the book of Amos, in a sense, like what happened in Amos's time, telling us about the horrible times. Well, I love the fact that we're in the book of Revelation and fulfilling the book of Daniel. All this horrible stuff has come to pass, and we can start fixing it, and then be getting ready for these ecological changes and make the most loving, intelligent possible. We have a possibility to make this book very loving and intelligent, or stupid and irrational. It's up to us. And the things I like about the book of Revelation is the openness to be able to meet a bride for myself, selfishly, yes, and to be with her and love her and live to be an old man reporting to the guys what's going on. It's okay, all this stuff happened. It's all right. We're back. We're together, and it's me, and I look like you, and you look like me, and we'll be okay. We got 1,000 years in Christ, living Islam as Rasta, understanding the reuniting of the Hindu and the Krishna. We are one family that can understand the unification of God, the life source that lives in all of us, in the respect. And we can live this word, and the words transcend, because it's like in that Louis Gossett and Dennis Quaid movie, truth is truth. No matter where you go, we can live truth. We can do this. We can be the proof of life and the truth of the word. All right, guys, I love you, man. But Berlin, it was a beautiful city at that time. That was when Hitler was coming up and working his race through and helping them to cause discord in the markets to reallocate the sources and move, because they, all these caves are coming up and these homosexuals, and they're going to break down the moral welfare stuff. They set up these things to do this. They're always doing that stuff. But at the time when Hirschman, and it's said in the books, you read the documentation about Hirschman, yeah, he protected and loved and hung out with the homosexuals. They were fun, and he liked them. He himself was not gay, but he adored his friends and family. They were kind and compassionate and creative and exploring their newfound freedoms to be homosexuals, and he wanted to keep that safe for them because they were creative, fun, and they were his friends. And he tried to, that's why he stayed and died in Germany, to protect his friends, the gypsies, the Hungarians, the Jehovah's Witnesses, and the homosexuals, and yeah, and the Jews. So he didn't think he didn't think they were that stupid. He wasn't connecting spiritually. He wasn't arrogant when they took him, and he was shocked. He just couldn't believe they were that stupid. But then he realized as he was going to his death that he had fulfilled the book of Daniel, and he was going to be the one that died. Oh, it was a horrible, well, we already explained how Hitler did that too, so it's not cool. Hitler's group was not nice, and I hope they're getting better. I hope they're growing. Pray for peace, people everywhere, okay? You know what I know. All right, blessings and peace.